fucking knew it. I knew what was going to happen in this Thursday night Thanksgiving evening late window primetime game where the Bills played the New Orleans Saints. I saw it coming. I did. I was like, last night when I recorded myself, I knew I was going to watch it back 24 hours after I uploaded it on Wednesday night, on Thursday night, and be like, I was right, or I was similarly right. The Bills were going to bounce back after a really ugly loss to the Colts and get themselves a W against the New Orleans Saints on Thanksgiving night. And that's exactly what happened. I had figured that the Bills were going to win comfortably. I thought within like 2 scores. Nope. They go out here, and not only do they win by 2 scores, they win by 25 points. They win by 4 scores. And 7 years ago. Isn't that the saying? Yeah, literally 24 hours. I went back and I listened to myself as the reason why I post bullshit on this little burner YouTube channel I have, just to go listen to it right after the game ended, and I was pretty much spot the fuck on, as I said it for a reason. The Bills win 31-6. They beat up on a completely decimated New Orleans Saints offense that literally could not do anything until they were down by 24 points in the fourth quarter. Straight up. I mean, there were points where the Bills were kind of trying to get them back in the game, it seemed like, especially in the first half. But, I mean, I think the best starting field position for the Saints was towards the end of the second quarter, where Josh Allen threw that interception. No, sorry. The first interception Josh Allen threw, it gave them the ball at like the near midfield, and they just got pushed back and had to punt. And, at that point, the Bills were already up, I think 10-0, or maybe they were up 7-0. And I was like, this game is going to get, it's probably going to get ugly. And then the second turnover that Josh Allen had was towards the end of the first half, right, I think inside the 2 minutes, in the red zone. His first red zone interception that he has ever thrown. It finally happened in the regular season, at least, I believe. And that one was just kind of unlucky. But, I mean, the score was already 10-0. You already had a two score lead, and you were getting the ball after the half. I had kind of figured this might be one of those games where the Bills win, like, I don't know, 17-0 or like 17-3 or something, where like they just dominate them on defense, but the offense is kind of wonky and doesn't really put the game away, and or just kind of put a bow on it and just push it out of reach, and that's how the first half felt. It was a great first half by the defense, not the greatest first half by the offense, but I will say the Saints defense was pretty much completely intact. The Saints do have a very good defense. I think they have like a top 8 defense in the NFL. And so, the Bills struggled a little bit. They were moving the ball well, but, Josh Allen threw a terrible interception. The first throw looking for Diggs. I think he got picked off by Bradley Roby. Second one, not really his fault. His hand got hit. But that was kind of the defensive performance that I thought the Saints, in their best case scenario, were going to put out onto the field. And the big question that was heavily in doubt, in my opinion, was whether or not the offense was going to be able to hold up their end of the deal, even if the defense played well. And the first half, the defense, they tried, the Saints defense played pretty well. I mean, holding to Josh Allen to just 10 points in the Bills offense and forcing 2 turnovers. But I mean, good God, the Saints offense, they did not score any points until the fourth quarter, when they were already down 24-0. Bills allowed less than 200 total yards. They stepped up, allowed like 2 yards per carry. Trevor Siemian, just like pretty much every other quarterback the Bills have played, and I am aware that outside of Patrick Mahomes, like the Bills have only played like maybe one or two other decent quarterbacks, being like Tannehill and Wentz. Everybody else has just been like, average to below average stars. I am aware of that, but nonetheless, Trevor Siemian threw for like 160 yards, did throw a touchdown, but also he did turn the ball over. Bills sacked him a couple times. It was a very great all-around performance by the Bills. At halftime, it was kind of giving me week 2 Miami Dolphins vibes, where like maybe Josh Allen isn't performing great, but like the rest of the team and the opposing team is kind of shitting the bed. And so it's like a 90% dub, with the 10% being the quarterback not playing the greatest. But at the end of the day, the Bills came out in the second half and just absolutely dominated. Went up and down the field with the ball. He threw 3 touchdowns in the final quarter and a half before getting benched because they were up 31-6 with like 6 minutes left in the game for Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, Josh, he had 5 incompletions and 2 of them were interceptions. All right, that's the kind of game he had against, in my opinion, a good New Orleans Saints defense. Although, it was a New Orleans Saints defense that admittedly, did have to be on the field a decent amount because their offense was just atrocious. The Bills won the time of possession by almost 10 minutes. The Saints were, 5 of 14 on third down, but I think all those third downs were picked up like on the last 2 drives of the game when the game was way out of reach. The Bills were 8 of 13 on third downs. Josh Allen was incredibly efficient. I would say this and probably the football team game, I would say, were his 2 best games that he's had. He threw 4 touchdowns, did throw the 2 interceptions. It is what it is, but it was 23 of 28, 260 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Matt Breida played again. I thought, despite only averaging like 3 yards a carry, I still thought he had some nice plays. He did have another touchdown that when he caught a touchdown for, he was like almost 20 yards or so. So once again, he showed flashes where, he kind of is pushing Zach Moss out the door. And I liked what I saw from both Singletary and Breida. Although the Bills only rushed for about 70 yards outside of Josh Allen, I'll still take what I can get. Right? I still enjoyed what I saw. The offensive line was probably the biggest weakness for the Bills in this game. I think that was a big reason why Josh Allen had one of his 2 turnovers. And also the rushing lanes weren't great. There were a couple plays where Devin Singletary just made some plays, made people miss in order to get a few yards. I saw a couple plays where there were a lot of broken tackles and they still just got back to the line of scrimmage. So the offensive line was probably the only, weakness, if there was one, during the game. But to call it a weakness or to call it like, to give them like an F, I don't think that's fair. Josh Allen only got sacked twice. And I thought the offense as a whole executed really well. Stephon Diggs had a pretty solid game. He had 7 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Cole Beasley kind of did his thing. Dawson Knox had 2 touchdowns. He could have definitely had a third one that got called back due to an ineligible man downfield. It was the right call, but still, I would say this was one of the best performances the Bills have put out this season, point blank. Defense was great. Granted, they were playing a terrible offense. I just want that to be known, and that's what I had expected. There was no way in hell Tony Johnson or in Ty Montgomery and Trevor Siemian and fucking Lil Jordan Humphrey and Traquan Smith. There's no way in hell that offense was going to put up even more than like 20 points. Like, no fucking moon base was that going to happen against the Bills defense. I don't give a shit how great and how demoralized Jonathan Taylor was and made our defense look last week. It just wasn't going to happen, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like the Bills, there was like no way they were going to lose this game. That's what I thought, like, coming into it, there would have had to have been like a special teams play. There had to be a bunch of fun. Like, there had to be just things that don't happen in normal NFL games. There would have had to be a scoop and score, a pick six, an injury, big penalties, and there weren't any. You know, the Bills' penalties were at a minimum, and it was the cleanest game that they played all year long, and you love to see it. You know, the Bills only had 4 penalties for 35 yards. Saints only had 4 penalties for 24 yards. 8 penalties in the whole game. Like that's what I fucking want to see. That's what I like. And what I like is a domination by the Buffalo Bills. The Saints, I do like them. I really like them with Drew Brees. Now that Drew Brees is gone, maybe I won't be as much of like a secondary fan. But yeah, man, I don't know. The Saints, they can't do anything without, you know, they at least need Alvin Kamara. I mean, they need him back, because without him, with their quarterback position and especially their receivers, they have no chance. They have no chance if their defense doesn't, you know, go on some like aggressive, forcing several turnovers and giving them short fields. Like, 'cause they're going to be in trouble, because like it's just not going to work. I know Sean Payton's a guru, but good God, you can only do so much with so little. But yeah, I think this was a great win for the Bills to kind of chill out on and get to sit back for, you know, like a week and a half. I think 11 days before they play on Monday night against the Patriots. You know, the Patriots get to play the Titans this week. You know, that should be a good game. Actually, I'm gonna be honest, because without Derrick Henry, the Titans are they're really not very intimidating for me. Kind of in the same way that the Patriots are, and the Patriots, they at least have a really good defense. The Titans, not so much. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, if the Patriots lose, the Bills are back a half game up on them, and they're back in first place. So that'll be kind of fun. Obviously, it doesn't matter regardless, one way or the other. One team is going to be in first place once they actually play each other next week. But I'm excited for that. I think the Bills should be able to handle business against the Patriots. I know the Patriots have won 5 in a row. Even if the Patriots do somehow find a way to beat the Titans, I don't know. I'm confident in the success the Bills have had against the Patriots recently without Tom Brady, as well as the fact that, I'm sorry, like when I look at the Patriots offense, I just do not see them finding a way to put up enough points to beat a Josh Allen-led Bills offense. I'm confident enough that a performance like against the Steelers, like against the Jags and the Colts, is not going to show up again. All right, I don't think that will happen. Okay, and so for that reason, I am very confident. Not as confident as I was coming into this Saints game, but I am very confident that the Bills will find a way to win. I'm very confident the Bills will take charge over the AFC East. And if, you know, the Bills do lose again, I'm going to give my thoughts on it, because, I mean, you know, I have expectations for this team, pretty high expectations for this team this year, and they haven't quite met them yet. Although, I mean, if they win out and go 13-4, then shit, that was my prediction. So, but I don't know, man. After a win like this, it was encouraging. They only could have went up. So that's why, you know, Bills fans who were kind of demoralized and thinking, oh, if we're going to get, you know, beat by the Jags, and we're going to play that bad last week, I mean, how the hell can we say we're going to beat anybody, especially Sean Payton, especially the Saints at home? Oh, their defense, blah, 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 blah. No. With a team like this, with its defense as good as it is, with a quarterback as good as it is, with a coach as good as he is, there's no way they are going to suck that bad and lay consecutive turds on the field. It's not going to happen. And I think the Bills are going to right the ship, and I think that they will win. I don't think they're going to win decisively over the Patriots. I think they're going to save that for the final game, which I believe is at home, I think. I want to see. Do they play? They play at New England. I think the Bills, you know what, fuck that. I think the Bills are going to decisively win against the Patriots on Monday night. I think they will. They did it last year. Similar kind of point in the season towards the end. Kind of put the nail in the coffin in the Cam Newton era of the Patriots. They won't be putting the nail in the coffin of even the season if they you know, kind of dick them down or whatever. Like, I think they will. but still, I think it'll be a statement win, and I think people are going to be pushing the Bills back towards the top of the AFC power rankings and the NFL power rankings as a whole. I really do. I'm excited. Fuck the Patriots. Fuck Mac Jones in that offense. You know, what he tried to do to Brian Burns and all that bullshit. And them, you know, trying to be hyped up with their mediocre ass fucking little league bullshit, 3rd and long, draw play, shallow cross, screen heavy offense. Fuck that. All right. Yeah, you might be able to get a win against a team with a bad quarterback or a mediocre quarterback like Baker Mayfield, or, you know, a good but inexperienced and, you know, young team like a Los Angeles Chargers, but they're not going to come up against a team who's the reigning AFC East champions, who just went to the AFC Championship last year, who have one of the best, if not the best, young quarterbacks in the conference. It's not going to happen. I'm confident in it, and I'm going to come back. And I swear, Max, I will go ahead and record my reaction one way or another after the Bills play the Patriots, because I'm excited, because I think I'm going to be right. And if I'm not right and they barely win, or if I'm wrong and they lose or they get destroyed, then man, I will just need to vent. I will have no other option. Go Bills.